Hey guys, what's going on? Blaine back for another Netflix review, and today I'm going to be talking about Drawing Closer. Drawing Closer is a Japanese drama that tells the story of Akito, a high school student who learns he only has about a year to live following the discovery of a tumor growing on his heart. He struggles to cope with the news and finding a reason to live when he meets a woman named Haruna. Just like Akito, Haruna is also terminally ill, but only has about 6 months left to live. The two hit things off with each other almost immediately due to their shared passion for art. It's at that point that Akito decides to bring as much joy to Haruna's life as he can with the time they both have left, and in doing so, they might just find meaning in life again. I knew this movie was special within the first minute of it playing. It's not often that I cry when watching a movie, but this one got me so many times with how emotionally resonant its story was, how likable its characters were, and how maturely yet optimistically it addresses its themes. It's easily one of the best films of the year I've seen so far. The main character, Akito, is sympathetic right from the start because of the life-changing position he's been put in. He's just a kid who has to deal with a fate that no one at his age should ever endure. His whole world comes crashing down, affecting his relationships with friends and family, and it's hard not to feel bad for him. Even after meeting Haruna, it still takes time for him to regain his composure and feel some sense of normalcy, and even then he still has moments of weakness. It's a fantastic way of showing how unpredictable and horrible his illness can be, and his actor does an amazing job at conveying the complexity of the situation. I loved seeing how his passion for art played into his condition as well. He starts off not caring about it anymore, and then slowly becomes more passionate about it again as Haruna helps realize the power behind it. It was awesome to see how his character grew to understand himself more through his art and how he'd use it to help others. The other main character, Haruna, was also fantastic, and much different compared to Akito. Unlike him, she's actually looking forward to her death and being able to escape her pain. Her more happy, relaxed personality made the dark nature of the film's subject matter less overwhelming. It made me curious to learn more about her. And indeed, while she appears content on the outside, as the story progresses, the audience gets to see how she really feels on the inside. She misses being healthy and being able to socialize with others due to being confined to her hospital, yet she doesn't want loved ones to see her sick either, so she pushes people away and uses art to escape her situation. I enjoyed seeing her perspective regarding her illness. It shows how there's no one defined way to react to being terminally ill, as everyone handles it differently, and it was rewarding to see Haruna build herself up again and try to find more meaning in life with the time that she has left. The relationship these two characters build throughout the movie is simply sublime. They both lack confidence in different parts of their lives and how they perceive life in general, and are able to help each other grow and realize their potential together. They complete each other in pretty much every conceivable way. Haruna helps Akito understand the power that art has in changing his perception of life, while Akito helps Haruna become more grounded in reality again and make amends with those that she hurt. They both grow as characters in their own right thanks to the bond they share, and it's beautiful to see. I also appreciated how natural the relationship felt as they spent more time with each other. It never comes off as a typical love story where the characters kiss and then fight and then make up with each other. Although they do have a few rocky moments, when push comes to shove, these two are there for each other through thick and thin, which makes the more difficult moments they eventually experience all the more heartbreaking. Something else I forgot to mention is that Akito doesn't actually tell Haruna that he has an illness. He does everything in his power to make sure Haruna feels happier without distracting her with his own problems. It's both admirable and crushing to see the lengths he goes to helping someone else at the expense of his own health, and it also adds a layer of suspense as to whether Haruna will find out or not. Make no mistake when I say that this movie is definitely a tearjerker in every sense of the word. I don't want to give too much away about what happens between them, but the increasingly intimate conversations these two share about their fate moved me as things became more dire. There's a scene involving a sunset at a beach that just ruined me with how devastating it was. There's so many moments where the two want to share their true feelings to each other, both about their lives and their relationships, but they don't want to burden the other person and prefer to just appreciate the moment, which makes their story all the more bittersweet as their time starts to run out. The emotional build-up in this story is as close to being perfect as it could possibly get, and one of the most effective tools the movie uses to enhance this is through art. One is escaping from their art, while the other is using art as the escape, and both have to achieve balance between art and reality. and it's awesome to see how they come to this balance. As I said earlier, it brings the characters together and helps them understand their trauma, but beyond that, it's just great to see how the art visually represents their growth throughout the story, especially for Akito as he prepares to enter a national art competition in spite of his illness. The filmmakers put a lot of effort into moments where they show the story using their art instead of telling it, and it pays off in spades. Art isn't the only method the movie uses to draw the audience further into the story. Supporting characters like Akito's family and Haruna's best friend Ayaka also flesh out each of their backgrounds, and they don't feel like filler characters either. They actually contribute to the story in meaningful ways, and I felt just as bad for them as I did for Akito and Haruna as their conditions worsened. Flashbacks and character narrations are also used here and there to add context to the main characters' backgrounds. I like that the filmmakers didn't go too overboard with these, as they add just enough information to help the audience relate to the characters better without distracting from the main story at hand. And the tone of the story is consistently reflected with the technical elements of the movie too. It features lots of great cinematography with close-ups that bring the audience into the character's state of mind, and the music is so good at making emotional scenes even more so. Speaking of the tone, I was impressed with how the movie approached it. Of course, any story about illness and impending death isn't always going to be sunshine and rainbows, and this movie is no exception. I appreciated the courage the filmmakers had in showing the increasing suffering the characters had to endure, especially for Akito as he tries to hide his pain while seeing Haruna being immersed in it. That being said, there's also plenty of lighter moments throughout the story too, so that it isn't completely depressing to watch. Little moments like Akito's interactions with a flower shop owner, or him and Haruna going to a high school play together, help to humanize the characters in spite of what they're going through. The only complaint I can really think of to mention about this movie is that its story is predictable in a certain sense, considering it is about characters who are terminally ill and inevitably fall in love with each other. But honestly, I think everyone knows that going into this movie, most of all the filmmakers who don't waste any time setting up the dynamics of the story. So because it's presented so effectively, the fact that it isn't original isn't really an issue. Akito and Haruna's stories are all about hope, which can be difficult to hold on to in the face of death. And that's exactly how they are from the beginning. They start off without any hope for the future, and it's through their bond that they start fighting for their future, however uncertain or certain it may be. It's all about living life to the fullest and making the most of the time we have left to live, while also accepting reality and not necessarily ignoring whatever fate may bring. Even though it is hard to watch at times, I can't deny the level of effort and care put into this movie's storytelling. It proves that something as simple as another person can change one's whole outlook on life, and it shows just how important it is to live and truly appreciate what we have while we're all still alive. Overall, Drawing Closer is a fantastic drama that explores the meaning of life in the face of death in unwavering fashion, while also telling a beautiful love story in the midst of it all. If you like dramas and romances centered around the subject of death and are looking for a good tearjerker, you absolutely have to check this movie out. It is amazing. This is one of those movies that will stay in one's mind long after having finished watching it. The excellent characters, emotional story, meaningful use of storytelling devices, and exploration of its themes make it one of the best love stories Netflix has ever produced, and it shows how far love can go to change one's life even as we draw closer to the end. What did you think about this movie? Did you love it as much as I did, or did you find some flaws with it instead? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap up my review of Drawing Closer. Thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always stay tuned for the next part where next time I review the American romantic comedy, A Family Affair. Bye bye!